God, please, no! No!
The comrades are
No!
lost.
No!
You feel it too, don't you?
Well, fuck! That was a twist there at the end. I did not expect that ending, so well played, Togashi. Well played, and I'm not even going to touch that ending till later in the video, otherwise I'm going to just be a hot crying mess throughout, and no one wants to see that. So let's get this review over with and just rip it off like a band-aid. Here we go. Well, that banquet was completely different from what I was expecting. I thought we'd see a lot more maneuvering and plotting between the princes, and maybe we'd even see a magic show from some of the Phantom Troupe. But instead, we get an awkward talent show and a sad buffet. But at least we got to see an epic rap battle from Basho and an amazing performance from Melody. Like, if you look at the audience, even Tserriednich and Benjamin are shook from it. And that's saying something. But we didn't get to see a lot of plotting prior or during the banquet, because it turns out the banquet is just supposed to be a backdrop, and the real focus of this chapter is supposed to be on the twins. So this actually really works for me. First off, we see the twins wearing matching sailor dresses, and they look like twins straight out of a horror movie like The Shining. Come play with us, Johnny, forever and ever. And this does not bode well. Then we have Keeney showing Melody a picture of his dead wife and daughter, and he says, "Don't worry, I'll see them again. And at least I'll get to save two beautiful girls." And yeah. And then he commits suicide. And I imagine that this is to, one, show that he is guilty and take the blame off Melody, and two, he can't be interrogated. So I believe that was his mindset going into that. So GG, Keeney, you did your best. He died trying to help them escape, only they couldn't. And I think that that's because of the Nen Jar ceremony, that none of the princes can leave the boat on pain of death. So I believe that's what happened here in this chapter, and we just went all full Middle Alchemist here. So as the twins are trying to leave, we see these grabby Nen hands of death, and I believe that the person who opens the door smiling and winking and looks like Kacho, that ain't her. Not the original one. That's actually her Nen Beast, and we learn this because we finally get an explanation of its ability and why it was formless earlier on. It's because its ability is called Without You, and it takes on the form of one of the twins should one of them die, and it will protect her for the rest of her life. And fuck if that isn't one of the saddest abilities to have on Hunter x Hunter. Like, this chapter. Fuck. So when we see the twins safe and sound back on the boat together, and we learn about Kacho's ability, and then finally we switch to the last panel of Kacho dead wearing the sailor dress she was wearing earlier, that really hit me in the gut. That was not what I was expecting. I expected this to be the Red Banquet, like a complete just violent bloodshed, but instead this chapter was eerily quiet. We got a lot of wordless panels that just focused on their expressions. And for me, it was almost so sneaky that I did not brace myself for the impact of that final panel of seeing Kacho dead. I was not expecting that twist. So for me, that was a sneaky horror chapter, well written. So well played, yeah. And I think this chapter pretty much confirms why Cacio is my favorite prince. Like, at first she started off really fake and superficial, however she turned out to be one of the most selfless of the princes. Like, she wanted her bodyguards to protect her sister over her, and I think her ability pretty much proves how much she loved her sister. Rip, baby girl, you were too pure for this world or this succession war, and I've gotta say that if this isn't the chapter that made the editor cry, I'm scared for what's in store, fam. Like, yikes. We probably better have a Nen exorcist up in here to stop this succession war, or we need to find some sort of loophole, because there are babies, or one baby, and we have children. So this battle royale has got to stop, or there has to be some sort of plot twist where they're all revived in the end, because if you remember the creepy butler of the king, he does say that Prince Mimose is still alive. So I'm kind of hoping we have a Chimeriant situation where we have some resurrection or some sort of hope here. Otherwise, this arc is just gonna be as depressing as hell. I guess the one good yet hella sad thing to come out of this chapter is that Fugetsu will go on believing that her sister is still alive, and that in itself is... yeah. That's still sad. Okay, I'm emotionally spent right now, so if you guys have any ideas for where this succession war is headed or what's in store next for our characters aboard the Black Whale, let me know your ideas down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!